Here's how much money we're gonna need for the Money Friends DLC in GTA Online. We already know of multiple vehicles that are coming with this update and multiple businesses, along with some other features that are definitely gonna be getting us to spend some money on them. Now, beginning with the businesses that we're gonna spend some money on, so there's gonna be 3 different businesses that we're gonna be able to own, but I just don't think those 3 businesses are gonna be all super big and super expensive. I think they're gonna be medium sized, maybe even possibly a little bit small. So I think a good price to set to each of these businesses would be $1 million each. Even if one is more expensive than the other, I feel like as a good average, each of these businesses should be costing us $1 million more or less. So that would be $1 million on the car wash in Strawberry, $1 million on the smoke on the water dispensary, and $1 million on Higgins Heli Tours. So in total, so far, we've spent $3 million on the businesses. Now, getting into some of the confirmed vehicles that we already know the names of, 2 different SUVs are going to be the Karen Everon RS and the Woodlander. So for SUVs, they're usually relatively cheap compared to, like, let's say supercars, but I feel like these are going to be pretty good. Currently, the most expensive SUV we have in the game lists at just about $1.7 million, and so it's safe to say at least one of these SUVs are going to be around that price point. I think one of them is going to be roughly 1.8 million, one of them is going to be like 1.4, so let's average it out and put it at 1.6 million on average for 2 SUVs, so $3.2 million for those SUVs, getting us up to a total of $6.2 million so far for 2 SUVs and 3 businesses. Another vehicle we're gonna get is the Declasse Tampa GT in the Muscles class. Now, since we're getting a new version of an existing vehicle, we already have something like the Drift Tampa, which costs about $1 million in the Southern San Andreas website. There's also a weaponized Tampa variant that goes for about $2.1 million, so I think it's gonna be in between that price range. I'll say the Tampa GT is gonna be costing about $1.5 million, so that gets us up to a total of $7.7 million with those 3 cars and those 3 businesses. We have one more vehicle that's probably going to be the most expensive one. It's a supercar, the overflawed Suzumi. Here's a picture of it up on the screen right now. This thing is definitely going to be at least $2.5 million, probably around $3 million. Not sure if it's going to be HSW upgradable, but we'll say without HSW, I'm going to give it a price of about $2.8 million, getting the total budget up to $10.5 million at this point. Now, in the Rockstar Newswire, some people missed a bottom part that mentioned that 50 more vehicles will be given a missile lock-on jammer capability. And although you can say that getting the missile lock-on jammer on every single one of these 50 cars is a bit overkill, but because it is something you can spend your money on, and it technically is a new feature, or I guess just new cars you can get it on, I still thought I should mention it in this total budget or total spending. Every vehicle you upgrade to the missile lock-on jammer, it's gonna cost you $400,000, and so if we calculate 50 cars times $400,000 on each one getting the missile lock-on jammer, you would be spending $20 million on equipping every single car with the missile lock-on jammer. So whether you want to put the missile lock-on jammer or not, the total or the maximum spending of this DLC could go up to $30,500,000. That's excluding vehicles or maybe weapons that we don't know of just yet that we're going to be able to purchase. So just over $30 million for everything that we know of so far. That's definitely a lot of money. If you want to get everything plus only get the missile lock-on jammer on some of the vehicles, you're probably going to be spending about $15 to $20 million, which is still a lot of money. So hopefully this video gives you a good idea of what you're looking at for spending. Leave a like if you found this helpful, subscribe if you're new to the channel for more awesome videos like these that you don't want to miss, and if you want to keep watching, click the video on screen out for it. I hope you all enjoy that one, and peace.